Quantitative investment, developed upon the robust multi-factor models, is at a center stage in today's investment industry. The essence of a multi-factor model is the relationship between different types of risk and corresponding returns of financial instruments. Enormous data is generated by the factor model and real financial portfolios together every day, but little was utilized for further analysis and decision making. To fill the gap, we present sPortfolio, an interactive visual analytics system to provide a holistic picture of the factor data, aiming at facilitating the analysis of market general situation and portfolio strategies. The sPortfolio system has four major sections, including the clustering view, the correlation view, the comparison view, and the individual view. The portfolio cluster view on the top left contains all the portfolios available for selection in a selected period, clustered by their factor data. The color of each portfolio represents its relative cumulative return to the market benchmark in the period. Red color encodes superior return, while green color indicates performance lower than the benchmark. The correlation view contains blocks representing the correlation between every two factors and the return of each factor calculated by barrel model. The line in each block is plotted as the correlation or cumulative return against time. Blue color encodes negative average correlation, while red represents positive average correlations. When user hover the mouse onto the block, the enlarged view of the block is displayed on the bottom left of the correlation view. The comparison is filled with groups of portfolios that users selected from Portfolio Cluster View. An aggregated cumulative return graph is displayed on the top of each group. Below the return graph is the glyph of every portfolio in this group. The upper part of the glyph encodes the risk factor exposure in the selected period. Each blue line encodes the risk profile of the portfolio in one day. The lower part of the glyph is horizon graphs, encoding proportion of cash in the top 5 industry holdings. The individual view displays the proportion of each stock in the portfolio as a line graph. The stacked line with blue fill in the background represents the invested capital over the total value of the portfolio. The left stack bar chart is composed of the aggregation of 3 time-weighted proportions. We'll now demonstrate the sPortfolio system through a case study. We select each 2 months of the time window in clustering view to trigger the correlation view and then observe the correlations between factors in every 2 months. We found that the correlations are the strongest from March to April in 2016 because of the strong colors of the blocks. We select the entire 2016 in the time window and randomly select 5 groups of portfolio from the clustering view to observe their return patterns in comparison view. The risk preference of the groups of portfolios are different, but they are all diversified in terms of risk exposure. The industry holdings in the comparison view and stock holdings in the individual view also show great diversity between groups. In this case, the return of the portfolios should be relatively smooth. However, in the aggregated return graph, almost every portfolio suffered from high volatility during March to April, which demonstrates the ineffectiveness of borrow model during these 2 months. With sPortfolio, except the factor model measurement, we can also observe the stock portfolio's management and strategy from different perspectives.